back to another episode of the Cookie Talk. I am Cuong and I am your host for today. Today's guest is Mr. Cuong, who is a freshman from the British University of Vietnam. With years of experience and an open mind, Cuong is here to share some of his insights on the importance of extracurricular activities and also internships for high school students. Nice to meet you, Cuong.
Nice to meet you too.
Would you like to introduce yourself to all the cookie lovers out here?
Hi everyone, as introduced, my name is Cuong, freshman at the UD. I'm currently majoring in hospitality right now. I'm also an alumni of RGSV in the class of 2023. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Cuong. So, our name of the podcast is the Cookie Talk. So before we start our discussion on the main topic, we prepared two different types of cookies. This right here is English toffee, and this is double chocolate. So, Cuong, you can choose one of them to eat.
Personally, I would go with the toffee one.
You can try it right now.
No.
Right. It's really good. While you eat your cookie, I'm going to name some fun facts that I've done some research about the two cookies. So, Cuong chose English toffee one, which means that he is a really adventurous person, and he also has a very unique personality. Me personally, I think that is really true about Cuong, because he plays a lot of sports and he is not afraid to risk himself. Me personally, I would choose the double chocolate because I think chocolate is way better than toffee. And for a person who chooses chocolate, I am a sweet, social, and reliable person. This is a fun fact for y'all out there. What do you think? What do you think is the best flavor of chocolate? The best flavor of cookies out there.
I like chocolate chip coffee. It would be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can just never beat the classic,
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. I'll give you some time to finish your cookie. Just finish it, it's fine. We'll wait. Have you finished your cookie?
Yeah, it was delicious. Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you. So, we're going to start on our main discussion right now. Well, we are here talking to an RGSV alumni, and we all know how stressful and tough the IB program is. I've known that you also took the IB program when you were in RGSV, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So as an IB student myself, one of the most challenging thing I find doing is balancing CAS. And for non-IB learners out there, CAS stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service, which is a crucial element of the IB diploma program. So could you share your journey of balancing the three strands of CAS, as well as some tips for the IB students out there?
I think this is quite a common problem for IB students. I personally struggled with it myself at first. I think the most common thing for students that they make is they would have a significant amount of activity hours, since activity exists in everything. So it's quite easy to kind of overdo it and kind of lost yourself during the process and just don't pay attention to the other two. Well, personally for me, what I try to focus the way I try to do it was I would try to include two strands of class in one activity that I do. So for example, rather than just play basketball for normal, I would try to go on to take basketball class as an assistant coach or the main coach for a junior team. That way, not only would I earn activity hours for teaching basketball, but it will also be service because I'm also giving back to the community. I'm also teaching kids, helping the community get better at basketball. So that would go for two strands for class. So I think that way you can not only choose to do what you like, but also include all the hours, all the strands at one go. So I think it would definitely be a lot quicker and a lot, I would say, a lot less stress. So that students don't have to figure out what do I have to do for service, what do I have to do for creativity. I think it's a lot simpler and people just the stress of completing the three usually kind of makes students hard to figure it out. Yeah. I think that's what I did.
Well, I think that's a really good way to balance out your different strands of tasks, and I think that your tips are really helpful. Would be really helpful for the IB students out there. As we are already discussing extracurricular activities for today, I also want to address an issue that I think should be addressed. For instance, we see that many students are doing these activities because they really enjoy and find pleasure doing it, and they also care for the community. They want to give back to the community. They want to do charity just because they have a kind heart. But I also see some of them doing it just because they want a really long extracurricular list of activities in their resume, their CV, at universities. What is your view on this topic?
Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing to want a good CV to present to your university. But at the same time, I think a CV is one of the best ways for you to present yourself, to present who you are for your university. So I feel like a lot of students kind of misunderstood that, and they try to put in the best activities that they can do, even if they don't enjoy it, and end up creating a completely different person in their CV to the university. And after some time passed, when they look back at it, they'll be like, that's not really who I am. I'm not showcasing who I am to the university. So I think the most important thing is in these extracurricular activities, instead of treating it like something that you have to do, I feel like people should choose what they want to do best, explore what they want to do best, and kind of try to enjoy the process. Because I feel like throughout the whole application process, through all the essay, the extracurricular activity is the most enjoyable one, where you actually have freedom on what you want to do and what you can do. So I think people should, for me personally, I think students should just focus on what they want to do best and how they want to present themselves to the university, instead of actually trying so hard to kind of impress them and ended up losing their themselves anyway.
I agree with you, because I think that sometimes some people might want to start projects just because they want to build up their profile, but at the end they might end up enjoying the process, and it will benefit them because it will make them a better person and get a lot of leadership experience. I'm gonna actually share a story about myself. I am the founder of a project. It's called Lumore, and we actually provide charity concerts for children in need. And when I first started up Lumore, I just thought of it as a project that I would do and get it over with, so I can get something to put in my resume as a leadership experience. But while I was carrying it out, I met a lot of new people. I got to meet a lot of new friends, and I tried a lot of new positions. I had to be a leader, a founder. I tried to direct the whole concert, and at the end, I just figured out that it was really beneficial for me, and I actually enjoyed doing it instead of just wanting to get it over with, to put it in my CV. Okay, enough about me. So, looking at your profile, I heard that you participated in many different activities throughout the years in high school. So, which activity are you most proud of and most passionate about?
Well, that's one quite simple for me. I think it's definitely my time in my high school basketball team, especially during my senior year. I mean, firstly, it's obviously because I'm a very passionate person about basketball. It's the game I love playing the most, so it's quite natural for me to enjoy it the most out of all the activities I do. But secondly, I think the most important reason why I love it is during my time in my senior year. I've always been kind of the youngest person in the group since I started playing varsity at quite a young age. So I've always been used to, being the one that people take care of, being the little brother in the group. But during my senior year, I actually get to kind of be the big brother to my team, and actually seeing how my teammates, like my younger ones, they actually grow up throughout the course of the season. And I feel like it's a different experience for me, but it's also the most meaningful one. Seeing them kind of not just being more mature in part of by playing the game, but also maturing as a person. So, I mean, they went from kids who just want to goof around and practice into people that actually care for each other, and people who actually want to practice really hard and want to actually become passionate about what they do. And I feel like throughout the process, I really felt like I'm a proud big brother to them, watching them grow like that is definitely something really meaningful to me. And I feel like um, seeing them grow like that is something that I'm really proud of. The fact that I can be part of their journey and to see them grow like that was very meaningful to me for my senior year.
See, that's very interesting because after I reviewed your resume, one thing that really surprised me is that you decided to come back to RGSV after you graduate to become a coach. Because last year I played with you in the team. We came to the HEC Cup, we won the third place, all that. You were a really great captain, but after playing with you, I just really didn't see you as kind of a coach before. So why did you decide to volunteer as a basketball coach in RGSV? And what are some of the major differences in being a coach or a captain?
Firstly, I want to come back to RGSV because I really miss my time being in the team. So I want to come back. I want to talk to, like you guys, my old teammates. I want to meet people, and also I have a lot of free time nowadays. So I would kind of want to spend my time doing something, and obviously basketball is something I enjoy. So yeah, I just kind of want to come back here, get back to the place that I had a great time in RGSV, and yeah, just to have another year bonding with you guys. And to be honest, being captain and coach, two different roles, I didn't see much of a difference. Maybe it's because during my senior year, I have a lot of time working with our coach, Mr. Alberto. So we kind of get to talk a lot about different team plays. So I feel like this year we are doing the same, me and Mr. Alberto. So there's not much difference. But if there's anything, it would be like the way my vision has definitely like got a lot broader. Before, as a player, there was so limited privilege information on the process in the game due to like the intensity of the game, while we're playing, the shot clock, everything is just crammed up, taking space in my mind. So it's hard to really process a lot of information. But now as a coach, you kind of become more relaxed. You get to see the game as a whole, sitting on the sideline. So I feel like I've become more observant of not just our team, but also the opponent team. And yet that's just the only difference that I see of the way that I view the game.
Your passion and your love for sport is really influential to the high school students to pursue their main interest. So looking at your profile again, I can see many interesting and diversified activities. So, for example, for me, it's quite new to hear about students, partaking in a film festival outside of school or interning in the Marriott Hotel in the banquet position. So, what are the most memorable moments as you partake in these activities?
I think the most memorable experience for me, I think a common thing for all the activities is that I went into these activities not knowing a lot of people. So throughout the process, I get to know a lot more. I get to learn more. Like the film festival or interning at the banquet position, I had no idea how to film back then, and I didn't know how the hotel works back then. So just the thought of actually going in there and getting to learn new things, picking up a new skill, that was quite interesting for me, and it's beneficial to me. And throughout the process, like I said, or just like you doing a Lumiere project, I get to meet a lot of new people. I get to make a lot of new relationships. So that's definitely kind of the bonding experience and the learning process of every activity is something that's most memorable to me. And obviously it's going to be beneficial to me during the long run for what I plan to do in the future.
Do you think that internships like this could, spark your interest for possible future majors?
I definitely think so. I think high school students these days, since there are so many different trends, like now there's IT trends, but back then there was marketing trends, things like that. It's kind of hard for you to figure out what you like after you see everyone just going for one. You feel like you have to follow people, and I feel like a lot of people fell victim to that, and they end up picking, like a lot of my friends ended up picking IT because everyone's going to IT, and they talk to me and they just say like they hate it, they don't like how IT works, they hate the coding process, which is not what they like. So I think at a young age, you should really explore, go to different internships, jump on the chances you get. Because for me, you never know about anything until you really try it. Like the impression or what people tell you might never be true, might not be true. So I feel like things can only be true when you see it with your own eyes and you experience it yourself. So yeah, I just definitely think that students nowadays go to new internships, go try new things, explore yourself really. Just because this way, not only will you end up with your dream job, but you'll actually find something that you love to do, and that will keep you from wanting to do it and making it a long run career.
Well, I actually asked that question because I know that I've learned that after looking at your CV, is that you used to be you used to work as an intern at a retirement resident back when you were in Canada, and now you are majoring in hospitality, right? And I'm guessing that it has something to do with each other.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you could, share some of your experiences and how did you get like an opportunity to work in that resident, and also how did it like influence your choice of major university?
I mean, back then, due to the way high school works in Canada, we have to get a certain amount of service hours done before we graduate. And back then, I really wanted to work in the food industry in one way or another, like in a restaurant as a waiter or anything. But back then, there was not really any open kitchens that were wanting volunteer kids. They want like actual people who can cook and they need experience. So I was lacking in that. But then I saw this retirement home, and one of the things that they said we could do was to serve in the building restaurant at dinner for dinner service for the elder folks. So I was really excited about that. So I just chose to do it anyway. And when I came there, I definitely think that it influenced the way that I approach problems. Because one thing they kept mentioning to me was that since I'm having to come in contact with a lot of elder folks, I have to be a lot more careful with the way that I kind of treat them. For example, like when you see someone fall, your first instinct would just want to help them get up. But there, that's prohibited. You are not allowed to help an elder folk to get up after they fall, because what if you hurt them more? Because you don't know how their body is. What if their body is suffering from something? What if they're hurting in somewhere in a place that you don't know? So helping them up could end up injuring them. So I was informed that every time I see things like that, I would have to inform the medics in the building and just bring them there and help them to help the other folks. And yeah, through that, kind of the way I approach things, I became a lot more careful with different problems. I look at things a lot more critical and not just from the wide view. I don't just jump on my first instinct. I kind of just think, like, what are the consequences? What are the things that will be influenced by your action? So that experience definitely helped that. And also, not just that, but working here, I get to do a lot of things like planning events, like musical events for older folks, planning birthday parties, and through that, that really influenced me to want to work in kind of like, I say this, in a more sociable career, such as hospitality, because I ended up really liking to work with people and wanting to plan events. I really love becoming kind of like a host, kind of person like that. So yeah, I mean, that experience really kind of moved the way I look at problems, and it definitely influenced my choice of career today.
Oh, that's such a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So I also find that each activity teach you a lot of valuable lessons and will allow you to grow and develop as a person. So from activities inside to outside of school and several internships, could you share some insights on how you found interest in these areas?
I think one thing I kind of took it out after doing so many interns is that you should go into these activities and not have any expectation at all. Because I ended up learning things that I did not expect whatsoever. Um, like for example, when I was having my internship at a restaurant called Bistro, I expected to, when I going into that internship, I expected to learn how to talk to customer and kind of persuade them to buy things, just communication stuff. Because I was working as a waiter, so I thought, that's the only job the waiter has to do. But my first week on the job, all I got to do was bring dishes down and up the floor, and sometimes I even have to go wash and clean the dishes. And I barely got to talk to anyone in that first week. But through that experience, during that time, I kind of try to keep it open-minded, because I feel like a lot of people jump at these opportunities with kind of a fixed mindset in mind of what they're going to learn, and when that's not really what they get, they kind of become disappointed, and they don't want to continue their journey anymore. But I try to look at things from a different angle, and by having a lot of time to myself, because I wasn't getting to order anything, my interest peaked to the way the menu works of restaurant, like how they make menu, how they kind of decorate the menu, how they want to guide us to certain items. So that experience really helped me to look at kind of like really how a restaurant works, instead of just communication skill. I got to look at how the menu fits kind of the theme of the restaurant, and just certain things about our restaurant, how to design it, the decoration. And through that experience, I finally get my boss approval to actually greet customer, because he saw that I was looking at the menu every time that I get a chance to. But yeah, so I think it's the same for every experience that I would go into it expecting something and ended up learning something that I did not expect at all. So I feel like every activity that you do, you should always keep an open mind about it. Even if your expectation goes down the hole, that doesn't mean that there's nothing else to learn. There are always opportunities everywhere, even in the tightest space. I'm disappointed. So just try to go to these activities, being open-minded, setting no expectations, and learn everything that you can.
Wow. Really inspirational though. Well, as this episode is coming to an end, for all high school students out there, do you have any suggestions or tips on how to get select which extracurricular activity is most fitting and beneficial for them?
Like I said, the CB is really a way for you to present yourself to the university. So my biggest thing for you guys as students would just be to choose all the activities that you want, whether it was sport, whether it be cooking, and expand on it, really. Like for me, example, I took basketball and I tried to take classes with it. I made classes with it, I made tournaments with it, or different hours, different kinds of activities. So I feel like just do what you love, enjoy the process, because if you don't, then you will end up kind of wasting a lot of time and feeling a lot more stressful. And really, the application process is already stressful enough for you to even put even more kind of harm on yourself mentally. So yeah, just my biggest tip was just to pick what you like, pick an activity you like, and expand it in every way that you possibly can think of.
Okay. So it's been a wonderful podcast. I see one more thing from you today. So to end the podcast today, we want to share some words of encouragement to the high school students in general, but more specifically the ones who are applying to university in the class 2024.
From a senior, I just wish you guys the best of luck. I know the process can be daunting, it can be tiring, but try your best to push through it, because at the end you get a long break, right? So yeah, just wish you guys the best of luck, wish your best through it, and yeah, hope everything goes well.
Okay, as you all know, the application process is really stressful, and many students do not have anyone to guide them through it. Thank you so much, Cuong, for sharing your insights and for supporting all of our listeners out there. We hope that you have found this podcast helpful, and please do note that all of our information shared in this podcast comes from personal experience and does not apply to everyone. We wish you the best of luck as you enroll in university this spring. This was Cookie Talk. See you next episode.